Chapter 35. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe in the desert plains of Moab by the Yarden of Jericho, saying, Command the children of Israel that they shall give the Levites cities to dwell in from the inheritance of their possession. Also give the Levites open land around the cities, and they shall have the cities to dwell in, and their open land for their cattle, and for their herds, and for all their livestock. And the open land of the cities which you give the Levites are from the wall of the city outward 1,000 cubits all around. And you shall measure outside the city on the east side 2,000 cubits, and on the south side 2,000 cubits, and on the west side 2,000 cubits, and on the north side 2,000 cubits, and the city is in the middle. This is to them the open land for the cities. And the cities which you give to the Levites are the 6 cities of refuge, which you give to the manslayer to flee to, and to these you add 42 cities. All the cities which you give to the Levites are 48, these with their open land. And the cities which you give are from the possession of the children of Israel. From the larger tribe you give many, from the smaller you give few. Each one gives some of its cities to the Levites in proportion to the inheritance that each inherits. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, When you pass over the Yarden into the land of Canaan, then you shall choose cities to be cities of refuge for you, that the manslayer who struck someone mistakenly shall flee there. And they shall be cities of refuge for you from the Redeemer. And the manslayer is not to die until he stands before the congregation for right ruling. And of the cities which you give, 6 are to be cities of refuge. Give 3 cities beyond the Yarden, and give 3 cities in the land of Canaan as cities of refuge. These 6 cities are for refuge for the children of Israel, and for the sojourner, and for the settler in their midst, for anyone who mistakenly strikes someone to flee there. But if he has stricken him with an instrument of iron so that he dies, he is a murderer. The murderer shall certainly be put to death. And if he has stricken him with a stone in the hand by which one could die, and he does die, he is a murderer. The murderer shall certainly be put to death. Or if he has stricken him with a wooden instrument that could kill, and he does die, he is a murderer. The murderer shall certainly be put to death. The Redeemer of blood himself puts the murderer to death. When he meets him, he puts him to death. And if he thrusts him through in hatred, or throws an object at him while lying in wait so that he dies, or in enmity strikes him with his hand so that he dies, the one who struck him shall certainly be put to death, for he is a murderer. The Redeemer of blood puts the murderer to death when he meets him. But if he pushes him suddenly without enmity, or throws an object at him without lying in wait, or uses a stone by which a man could die, throwing it at him without seeing him, so that he dies, while he was not his enemy or seeking his harm, then the congregation shall judge between him who struck someone and the Redeemer of blood according to these right rulings. And the congregation shall rescue the manslayer from the hand of the Redeemer of blood, and the congregation shall return him to the city of refuge where he had fled, and he shall remain there until the death of the high priest, who was anointed with the set-apart oil. But if the manslayer at any time goes outside the limits of the city of refuge where he fled, and the Redeemer of blood finds him outside the limits of his city of refuge, and the Redeemer of blood executes the manslayer, he is not guilty of blood, because he should have remained in his city of refuge until the death of the high priest. But after the death of the high priest, the manslayer is to return to the land of his possession. And these shall be for a law of right ruling to you throughout your generations, in all your dwellings. Whoever strikes a being, the murderer shall be executed by the mouth of witnesses. But one witness does not bear witness against someone to die. And take no ransom for the life of a murderer who is guilty of death, but he shall certainly be put to death. And take no ransom for him who has fled to his city of refuge, to return to dwell in the land before the death of the priest. And do not profane the land where you are, for blood profanes the land. And the land is not pardoned for the blood that is shed on it, except by the blood of him who shed it. And do not defile the land which you inhabit, in the midst of which I dwell, for I, Yahweh, am dwelling in the midst of the children of Israel. Chapter 36. And the heads of the fathers of the clans of the children of Gilead, son of Machir, son of Manasseh, of the clans of the sons of Joseph, came near and spoke before Moshe, and before the leaders, the heads of the fathers of the children of Israel, and said, Yahuwah commanded my master to give the land as an inheritance by lot to the children of Israel. And my master was commanded by Yahuwah to give the inheritance of our brother Zelophehad to his daughters. Now if they are married to any of the sons of the other tribes of the children of Israel, then their inheritance shall be taken from the inheritance of our fathers, and shall be added to the inheritance of the tribe into which they marry, and taken from the lot of our inheritance. And if the Yobel of the children of Israel takes place, then their inheritance shall be added to the inheritance of the tribe into which they marry, and their inheritance taken away from the inheritance of the tribe of our fathers. And Moshe commanded the children of Israel according to the word of Yahuwah, saying, What the tribe of the sons of Joseph speaks is right. This is the word which Yahuwah has commanded for the daughters of Zelophehad, saying, Let them marry who is good in their eyes, but let them marry only within the clans of their father's tribe. And the inheritance of the children of Israel is to not change hands from tribe to tribe. For every one of the children of Israel is to cling to the inheritance of the tribe of his fathers. And every daughter possessing an inheritance in any tribe of the children of Israel is to be the wife of one of the clan of her father's tribe, so that the children of Israel possess each the inheritance of his fathers. Thus the inheritance is to not change hands from one tribe to another, but every tribe of the children of Israel is to cling to its own inheritance. As Yahuwah commanded Moshe, so did the daughters of Zelophehad, for Machlah, Tirzah, and Haglah, and Milcah, and Noah, the daughters of Zelophehad, were married to the sons of their father's brothers. And they were married into the clans of the children of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, and their inheritance remained in the tribe of their father's clan. These are the commands and the right rulings which Yahuwah commanded the children of Israel by the hand of Moshe in the desert plains of Moab, by the Yarden of Jericho. The Book of Deuteronomy, Debarim. Chapter 1. These are the words which Moshe spoke to all Israel, beyond the Yarden in the wilderness, in the desert plain opposite Suf, between Paran and Tophel, and Laban, Chatzoreth, and Zahab, 11 days' journey from Horeb, by the way of Mount Seir, to Kadesh Barnea. And it came to be in the 40th year, in the 11th new moon, on the first day of the new moon, that Moshe spoke to the children of Israel according to all that Yahuwah had commanded him concerning them. After he had stricken Sihon, sovereign of the Amorites, who dwelt in Heshbon, and Og, sovereign of Bashan, who dwelt at Ashtoreth in Idri, beyond the Yarden in the land of Moab, Moshe undertook to declare this Torah, saying, Yahuwah, our Elohim, spoke to us in Horeb, saying, You have dwelt long enough at this mountain. Turn and set out on your way, and go into the mountains of the Amorites, and to all the neighboring places in the desert plain, in the mountains, and in the low country, and in the Negev, and on the sea coast, to the land of the Canaanites, and to Lebanon, as far as the great river, the river Euphrates. See, I have set the land before you. Go in and possess the land which Yahuwah swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Yitzhak, and to Jacob, to give to them and to their seed after them. And I spoke to you at that time, saying, I am unable to bear you by myself. Yahuwah, your Elohim, has increased you. And see, you are today as numerous as the stars of the heavens. Yahuwah, Elohim of your fathers, is going to add to you 1,000 times more than you are, and bless you as he has spoken to you. How do I bear your pressure and your burden and your strife by myself? Choose men, wise and understanding, and known to your tribes, and let me appoint them as your heads. And you answered me and said, The word which you have spoken to us to do is good. And I took the heads of your tribes, wise men and known, and made them heads over you, leaders of thousands and leaders of hundreds, and leaders of 50s and leaders of 10s, and officers for your tribes. And I commanded your judges at that time, saying, when hearing between your brothers, judge righteously between a man and his brother, or the sojourner who is with him. Do not show partiality in right ruling. Hear the small as well as the great. Do not be afraid of anyone's face, for the right ruling belongs to Elohim. And the case which is too hard for you, bring it to me, and I shall hear it. And I commanded you at that time all the words which you should do. Then we set out from Horeb, and went through all that great and awesome wilderness which you saw on the way to the mountains of the Amorites, as Yahweh your Elohim had commanded us. And we came to Kadesh Barnea. And I said to you, you have come to the mountains of the Amorites, which Yahweh our Elohim is giving us. See, Yahweh your Elohim has set the land before you. Go up and possess it, as Yahweh Elohim of your fathers has spoken to you. Do not fear, nor be discouraged. And all of you came near to me, and said, let us send men before us, and let them search out the land for us, and bring back word to us of the way by which we should go up, and of the cities into which we would come. And the matter was good in my eyes. So I took 12 of your men, 1 man from each tribe, and they turned and went up into the mountains, and they came to the Wadi Eshcol, and spied it out. And they took some of the fruit of the land in their hands, and brought it down to us. And they brought back word to us, saying, the land which Yahweh our Elohim is giving us is good. But you would not go up, and rebelled against the mouth of Yahweh your Elohim, and grumbled in your tents, and said, because Yahweh was hating us, he has brought us out of the land of Mitzrayim, to give us into the hand of the Amorites to destroy us. Where are we going to? Our brothers have made our hearts melt, saying, the people are greater and taller than we. The cities are great and walled up to the heavens. And we saw the sons of the Anakim there too. Then I said to you, have no dread or fear of them. Yahweh your Elohim, who is going before you, he does fight for you, according to all he did for you in Mitzrayim, before your eyes, and in the wilderness, where you saw how Yahweh your Elohim has borne you, as a man bears his son, in all the way that you went until you came to this place. Yet in this matter you are putting no trust in Yahweh your Elohim, who is going before you in the way, to seek out a place for you to pitch your tents, to show you the way you should go, in fire by night, and in a cloud by day. And Yahuwah heard the voice of your words, and was wroth, and took an oath, saying, not one of these men of this evil generation shall see that good land of which I swore to give your fathers, except Caleb, son of Jephunneh. He shall see it, and to him and his children I give the land on which he walked, because he followed Yahuwah completely. And Yahuwah was enraged with me for your sake, saying, you do not go in either. Yahshua, the son of Nun, who stands before you, he shall go in there. Strengthen him, for he shall cause Yisrael to inherit. And your little ones, and your children, who say you are for a prey, who today have no knowledge of good and evil, they are going in there. And to them I give it, and they are to possess it. But you, turn and take your journey into the wilderness by the way of the sea of reeds. Then you answered and said to me, we have sinned against Yahuwah. We ourselves are going up, and we shall fight as Yahuwah our Elohim commanded us. And when each one of you had girded on his battle gear, you were ready to go up into the mountain. Yahuwah said to me, say to them, do not go up nor fight, for I am not in your midst, lest you be smitten before your enemies. So I spoke to you, but you would not listen, and rebelled against the mouth of Yahuwah, and acted proudly, and went up into the mountain. Then the Amorites who dwelt in that mountain came out against you, and chased you as bees do, and drove you back from Seir to Hormah. And you returned and wept before Yahweh. But Yahweh would not listen to your voice, nor give ear to you. So you dwelt in Kadesh many days, according to the days that you dwelt. Then we turned and set out into the wilderness, the way of the Sea of Reeds, as Yahweh spoke to me. And we went round Mount Seir many days. And Yahweh spoke to me, saying, You have gone around this mountain long enough. Turn northward, and command the people, saying, You are about to pass over into the border of your brothers, the descendants of Esau, who live in Seir. And they are afraid of you, so be on your guard. Do not strive with them, for I do not give you any of their land. No, not so much as one footstep, because I have given Mount Seir to Esau as a possession. What food you buy from them with silver you shall eat, and also with water you buy from them with silver you shall drink. For Yahweh your Elohim has blessed you in all the work of your hand. He has known your wanderings through this great wilderness. These 40 years Yahweh your Elohim has been with you. You have not lacked any matter. And when we passed beyond our brothers, the descendants of Esau, who dwell in Seir, away from the way of the desert plain, away from Elath and Etzon Geber, we turned and passed over by the way of the wilderness of Moab. And Yahweh said to me, Do not distress Moab, nor stir yourself up against them in battle, for I do not give you any of their land as a possession, because I have given Ar to the descendants of Lot in a possession. The Emites had dwelt there formerly, a people as great and numerous and tall as the Anakim. They were also reckoned as Rephites, like the Anakim, but the Moabites called them Emites. And the Horites formerly dwelt in Seir. But the descendants of Esau dispossessed them and destroyed them from before them, and dwelt in their place, as Israel did to the land of their possession, which Yahweh gave them. Now rise up, and pass over the Wadi Zered. So we passed over the Wadi Zered, and the time we took to come from Kadesh Barnea until we passed over the Wadi Zered was 38 years, until all the generation of the men of battle was consumed from the midst of the camp, as Yahweh had sworn to them. And also the hand of Yahweh was against them, to destroy them from the midst of the camp until they were consumed. And it came to be when all the men of battle had finally perished from among the people, that Yahweh spoke to me, saying, This day you are to pass over at Ar, the boundary of Moab. And when you come near the children of Ammon, do not distress them, nor stir yourself up against them. For I do not give you any of the land of the children of Ammon as a possession, because I have given it to the descendants of Lot as a possession. That was also reckoned as a land of Rephites. Rephites formerly dwelt there, but the Ammonites call them Zamzumin, a people as great and numerous and tall as the Anakim. But Yahweh destroyed them before them, and they dispossessed them and dwelt in their place, as he had done for the descendants of Esau, who dwelt in Seir, when he destroyed the Horites from before them. They dispossessed them and dwelt in their place even to this day. And the Awim, who dwelt in villages as far as Azah, the Kaphtorim, who came from Kaphtor, destroyed them and dwelt in their place. Arise, set out and pass over the Wadi Arnon. See, I have given into your hand Sihon the Amorite, sovereign of Heshbon, and his land. Begin to possess it and stir up yourself against him in battle. This day I begin to put the dread and fear of you upon the peoples under all the heavens, who, when they hear the report of you, shall tremble and shake because of you. Then I sent messengers from the wilderness of Kedemoth to Sihon, sovereign of Heshbon, with words of peace, saying, Let me pass over through your land on the highway. I shall go on the highway and turn neither to the right nor to the left. What food you shall sell me for silver, I shall eat, and what water you give me for silver, I shall drink. Only let me pass over on foot. As the descendants of Esau who dwelt in Seir and Moabites who dwelt in Ar did for me, until I pass over the Yarden, to the land Yahweh our Elohim is giving us. But Sihon, sovereign of Heshbon, would not let us pass over, for Yahweh Elohim hardened his spirit and strengthened his heart to give him into your hand, as it is this day. And Yahuwah said to me, See, I have begun to give Sihon and his land over to you. Begin to possess, in order to possess his land. And Sihon and all his people came out against us to fight at Yahatz. And Yahweh, our Elohim, gave him over to us. So we struck him and his sons and all his people. And we took all his cities at that time. And we put the men, women, and little ones of every city under the ban. We left none remaining. Only the livestock we took as plunder for ourselves, and the spoil of the cities which we captured. From Aror, which is on the edge of the Wadi Arnon, and the city that is by the Wadi, as far as Gilead, there is not one city too high for us. Yahweh our Elohim gave all to us. Only you did not go near the land of the children of Ammon, anywhere along the Wadi Yabok, or to the cities of the mountains, or anywhere as Yahweh our Elohim commanded us. Chapter 3. Then we turned and went up the way to Bashan. And Og, sovereign of Bashan, came out against us, he and all his people, to battle at Edrei. And Yahweh said to me, Do not fear him, for I have given him and all his people and his land into your hand. And you shall do to him as you did to Sihon, sovereign of the Amorites, who dwelt at Heshbon. So Yahweh our Elohim also gave into our hands Og, sovereign of Bashan, with all his people, and we struck him until he had no survivors remaining. And we captured all his cities at that time, for there was not a city which we did not take from them. 60 cities, all the districts of Argob, the reign of Og in Bashan. All these cities were fenced with high walls, gates, and bars, besides a great many unwalled towns. And we put them under the ban, as we did to Sihon, sovereign of Heshbon, putting the men, the women, and the children of every city under the ban. But all the livestock and the spoil of the cities we took as booty for ourselves. And at that time we took the land from the hand of the two sovereigns of the Amorites, that was beyond the Yarden, from the Wadi Arnon to Mount Hermon. Zidonians call Hermon Sirion, and the Amorites call it Senir. All the cities of the plain, all Gilead, all Bashan, as far as Salcah and Edrei, cities of the reign of Og in Bashan. For only Og, sovereign of Bashan, was left of the remnant of the Rephites. See, his bedstead was an iron bedstead. Is it not in Reba of the children of Ammon? 9 cubits is its length, and 4 cubits its width, according to the cubit of a man. And this land which we possessed at that time from Aror, which is by the Wadi Arnon, and half the mountains of Gilead, and its cities, I gave to the Reubenites and to the Gadites. And the rest of Gilead, and all of Bashan, the reign of Og, I gave to half the tribe of Manasseh. All the district of Argob, with all Bashan, called the land of the Rephites. Yair, son of Manasseh, had taken all the district of Argob, as far as the border of the Geshurites and the Mahakathites, and called them after his own name, the Bashan of Hawath Yair, to this day. And to Machir I gave Gilead, and to the Reubenites and the Gadites I gave from Gilead as far as the Wadi Arnon, the middle of the Wadi as the border, as far as the Wadi Yabok, the border of the children of Ammon, and the desert plain with the Yarden as the border, from Kinnereth, as far as the sea of Arabah, the salt sea, below the slopes of Pisgah on the east. And I commanded you at that time, saying, Yahuwah, your Elohim, has given you this land to possess. All you sons of might, pass over armed before your brothers, the children of Israel. But let your wives and your little ones and your livestock, I know that you have much livestock, stay in your cities which I have given you, until Yahuwah has given rest to your brothers, as to you, and they all possess the land which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving them beyond the Yarden. Then you shall return, each man to his possession which I have given you. And I commanded Yahshua at that time, saying, Your eyes have seen all that Yahuwah your Elohim has done to these two sovereigns. Yahuwah does the same to all the reigns which you are passing over. Do not fear them, for Yahuwah your Elohim himself fights for you. And I pleaded with Yahuwah at that time, saying, O Master Yahuwah, you have begun to show your servant your greatness and your strong hand. For who is a mighty one in the heavens or on the earth who does according to your works and according to your might? I pray, let me pass over and see the good land beyond the Yarden, this good hill country, and Lebanon. But Yahuwah was enraged with me for your sake, and would not listen to me. And Yahuwah said, Enough of that. Speak no more to me about this matter. Go up to the top of Pisgah, and lift up your eyes westward, and northward, and southward, and eastward, and look with your eyes. For you do not pass over this Yarden. But command Joshua, and strengthen him, and make him brave. For he shall pass over before this people, and cause them to inherit the land which you see. And we dwelt in the valley, opposite Beth Peor. Chapter 4. And now, O Yisrael, listen to the laws and the right rulings which I am teaching you to do, so that you live, and shall go in and possess the land which Yahuwah, Elohim of your fathers, is giving you. Do not add to the word which I command you, and do not take away from it, so as to guard the commands of Yahuwah your Elohim, which I am commanding you. Your eyes have seen what Yahuwah did at Baal Peor. For Yahuwah your Elohim has destroyed from your midst all the men who followed Baal Peor. But you, who are clinging to Yahuwah your Elohim, are alive today, every one of you. See, I have taught you laws and right rulings, as Yahuwah my Elohim commanded me, to do thus in the land which you go to possess. And you shall guard and do them. For this is your wisdom and your understanding before the eyes of the peoples, who hear all these laws. And they shall say, Only a wise and understanding people is this great nation. For what great nation is there which has Elohim so near to it, as Yahuwah our Elohim is to us, whenever we call on him? And what great nation is there that has such laws and righteous right rulings like all this Torah, which I set before you this day? Only guard yourself, and guard your life diligently, lest you forget the words your eyes have seen, and lest they turn aside from your heart all the days of your life. And you shall make them known to your children and your grandchildren. The day when you stood before Yahuwah your Elohim in Horeb, Yahuwah said to me, Assemble the people to me, and I make them hear my words, so that they learn to fear me all the days they live on the earth, and teach them to their children. And you came near and stood at the foot of the mountain, and the mountain burned with fire to the heart of the heavens, darkness, cloud and thick darkness. And Yahuwah spoke to you out of the midst of the fire. You heard only a voice of words, but saw no form. You only heard a voice. And he made known to you his covenant, which he commanded you to do, the 10 words. And he wrote them on 2 tablets of stone. And Yahuwah commanded me at that time to teach you laws and right rulings, for you to do them in the land which you pass over to possess. Therefore diligently guard yourselves, for you saw no form when Yahuwah spoke to you at Horeb out of the midst of the fire, lest you should do corruptly, and shall make for yourselves a carved image in the form of any figure, the likeness of male or female, the likeness of any beast that is on the earth, or the likeness of any winged bird that flies in the heavens, the likeness of any creature that creeps on the ground, or the likeness of any fish that is in the water under the earth. Unless you should lift up your eyes to the heavens, and shall see the sun, and the moon, and the stars, and all the host of the heavens, and you be drawn away into bowing down to them, and serving them, which Yahweh your Elohim has allotted to all the peoples under all the heavens. But Yahweh has taken you, and brought you out of the iron furnace, out of Mitzrayim, to be his people, an inheritance as it is today. And Yahweh was enraged with me because of your words, and swore that I would not pass over the Yarden, and that I would not enter the good land which Yahweh your Elohim is giving you as an inheritance. For I am to die in this land. I am not passing over the Yarden, but you are passing over, and shall possess that good land. Guard yourselves, lest you forget the covenant of Yahweh your Elohim which he made with you, and shall make for yourselves a carved image in any form, as Yahweh your Elohim has commanded you. For Yahweh your Elohim is a consuming fire, a jealous El. When you bring forth children and grandchildren, and shall grow old in the land, and shall do corruptly, and make a carved image in the form of whatever, and shall do what is evil in the eyes of Yahweh your Elohim to provoke him, I shall call the heavens and earth to witness against you on that day, that you soon completely perish from the land which you pass over the Yarden to possess. You do not prolong your days in it, but are completely destroyed. And Yahweh shall scatter you among the peoples, and you shall be left few in number among the nations where Yahweh drives you. And there you shall serve mighty ones, the work of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell. But from there you shall seek Yahweh your Elohim, and shall find, when you search for him with all your heart and with all your being. In your distress, when all these words shall come upon you in the latter days, then you shall return to Yahweh your Elohim, and shall obey his voice. For Yahweh your Elohim is a compassionate El. He does not forsake you, nor destroy you, nor forget the covenant of your fathers which he swore to them. For ask now of the days that are past, which were before you, since the day that Elohim created man on the earth, and ask from one end of the heavens to the other end of the heavens, whether there has been a word as great as this, or has been heard like it. Has a people heard the voice of Elohim speaking out of the midst of the fire, as you have heard, and live? Or has Elohim tried to go and take for himself a nation from the midst of a nation by trials, and by signs, and by wonders, and by battle, and by a strong hand and an outstretched arm, and by great fearsome deeds, according to all that Yahweh your Elohim did for you in Mitzrayim before your eyes? You have been shown it, to know that Yahweh himself is Elohim. There is no one beside him. From the heavens he let you hear his voice to instruct you, and on the earth he showed you his great fire. And you heard his words out of the midst of the fire, and because he loved your fathers, therefore he chose their seed after them, and brought you out of Mitzrayim with his presence, with his great power, to drive out from before you nations greater and stronger than you, to bring you in to give you their land as an inheritance, as it is today. And you shall know today, and shall recall to your heart, that Yahweh himself is Elohim in the heavens above, and on the earth beneath. There is none else. And you shall guard his laws and his command which I command you today, so that it is well with you, and with your children after you, and so that you prolong your days on the soil which Yahweh your Elohim is giving you for all time. Then Moshe separated 3 cities beyond the Yarden toward the rising of the sun, for a manslayer to flee there, he who unknowingly murdered his neighbor without having hated him in time past, and might flee to one of these cities and live. Betzer in the wilderness, in the level land for the Reubenites, and Ramoth in Gilead for the Gadites, and Golan in Bashan for the Manasshites. And this is the Torah, which Moshe set before the children of Israel. These are the witnesses and the laws and the right rulings which Moshe spoke to the children of Israel after they came out of Mitzrayim. Beyond the Yarden, in the valley opposite Beth Peor, in the land of Sihon, sovereign of the Amorites, who dwelt at Heshbon, whom Moshe and the children of Israel had stricken after they came out of Mitzrayim. And they took possession of his land, and the land of Og, sovereign of Bashan, 2 sovereigns of the Amorites, who are beyond the Yarden toward the rising of the sun, from Aror, which is on the bank of the Wadi Arnon, even to Mount Sion, which is Hermon, and all the desert plain beyond the Yarden as far as the sea of Arabah, below the slopes of Pisgah. Chapter 5. And Moshe called all Yisrael and said to them, Hear, O Yisrael, the laws and right rulings which I speak in your hearing today, and you shall learn them, and guard to do them. Yahweh our Elohim made a covenant with us in Horeb. Yahweh did not make this covenant with our fathers, but with us, those who are here today, all of us who are alive. Yahweh spoke with you face to face on the mountain from the midst of the fire. I stood between Yahweh and you at that time to declare to you the word of Yahweh, for you were afraid because of the fire, and you did not go up to the mountain, saying, I am Yahweh your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, out of the house of bondage. You have no other mighty ones against my face. You do not make for yourself a carved image, any likeness of which is in the heavens above, or which is in the earth beneath, or which is in the waters under the earth. You do not bow down to them, nor serve them. For I, Yahweh your Elohim, am a jealous El, visiting the crookedness of the fathers upon the children to the 3rd and 4th generation of those who hate me, but showing loving commitment to thousands, to those who love me and guard my commands. You do not bring the name of Yahweh your Elohim to naught, for Yahweh does not leave him unpunished who brings his name to naught. Guard the Sabbath day to set it apart, as Yahweh your Elohim commanded you. 6 days you labor, and shall do all your work. But the 7th day is a Sabbath of Yahweh your Elohim. You do not do any work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your ox, nor your donkey, nor any of your cattle, nor your sojourner who is within your gates, so that your male servant and your female servant rest as you do. And you shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Mitzrayim, and that Yahweh your Elohim brought you out from there by a strong hand and by an outstretched arm. Therefore Yahweh your Elohim commanded you to perform the Sabbath day. Respect your father and your mother, as Yahweh your Elohim commanded you, so that your days are prolonged, and so that it is well with you on the soil which Yahweh your Elohim is giving you. You do not murder. You do not commit adultery. You do not steal. You do not bear false witness against your neighbor. You do not covet your neighbor's wife, nor do you desire your neighbor's house, his field, nor his male servant, nor his female servant, his ox, nor his donkey, or whatever belongs to your neighbor. These words Yahweh spoke to all your assembly in the mountain from the midst of the fire of the cloud and of the thick darkness. with a loud voice. And he added no more. And he wrote them on 2 tablets of stone and gave them to me. And it came to be when you heard the voice from the midst of the darkness, while the mountain was burning with fire, that you came near to me, all the heads of your tribes and your elders, and said, See, Yahuwah our Elohim has shown us his esteem and his greatness, and we have heard his voice from the midst of the fire. Today we have seen that Elohim speaks with man, and he lives. And now why should we die? For this great fire is consuming us. If we hear the voice of Yahuwah our Elohim any more, then we shall die. For who is there of all flesh who has heard the voice of the living Elohim speaking from the midst of the fire, as we have and does live? You go near and hear all that Yahuwah our Elohim says to you, and we shall hear and do it. And Yahuwah heard the voice of your words when you spoke to me. And Yahuwah said to me, I have heard the voice of the words of this people which they have spoken to you. They have done well in all that they have spoken. Oh, that they had such a heart in them to fear me, and to guard all my commands always, so that it might be well with them and with their children forever. Go, say to them, Return to your tents, but you stand here by me, and let me speak to you all the commands and the laws and the right rulings which you are to teach them, and they shall do them in the land which I am giving them to possess. And you shall guard to do as Yahuwah your Elohim has commanded you. Do not turn aside to the right or to the left. Walk in all the ways which Yahuwah your Elohim has commanded you, so that you live, and it be well with you, and you shall prolong your days in the land which you possess. Chapter 6. And this is the command, the laws, and the right rulings which Yahuwah your Elohim has commanded, to teach you to do in the land which you are passing over to possess, so that you fear Yahuwah your Elohim, to guard all his laws and his commands which I command you, you and your son and your grandson, all the days of your life, and that your days may be prolonged. And you shall hear, O Yisrael, and shall guard to do it, that it may be well with you, and that you increase greatly as Yahuwah Elohim of your fathers has spoken to you, in a land flowing with milk and honey. Hear, O Yisrael, Yahuwah our Elohim, Yahuwah is one. And you shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart, and with all your being, and with all your might. And these words which I am commanding you today shall be in your heart, and you shall impress them upon your children, and shall speak of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. And it shall be when Yahuwah your Elohim brings you into the land of which he swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Yitzhak, and to Yaakov, to give you great and good cities which you did not build, and houses filled with all kinds of goods which you did not fill, and wells dug which you did not dig, vineyards and olive trees which you did not plant, and you shall eat and be satisfied. Be on guard, lest you forget Yahuwah, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, from the house of bondage. Fear Yahuwah your Elohim, and serve him, and swear by his name. Do not go after other mighty ones, the mighty ones of the people who are all around you. For Yahuwah your Elohim is a jealous El in your midst, lest the displeasure of Yahuwah your Elohim burn against you. Then he shall destroy you from the face of the earth. Do not try Yahuwah your Elohim as you tried him in Massah. Diligently guard the commands of Yahuwah your Elohim and his witnesses, and his laws which he has commanded you. And you shall do what is right and good in the eyes of Yahweh, that it might be well with you. And you shall go in and possess the good land of which Yahweh swore to your fathers, to drive out all your enemies from before you, as Yahweh has spoken. When your son asks you in time to come, saying, what is the meaning of the witnesses and the laws and the right rulings which Yahweh our Elohim has commanded you? Then you shall say to your son, we were slaves of Pharaoh in Mitzrayim, and Yahweh brought us out of Mitzrayim with a strong hand. And Yahweh sent signs and wonders, great and grievous, upon Mitzrayim, upon Pharaoh, and upon all his household before our eyes. And he brought us out from there to bring us in, to give us the land of which he swore to our fathers. And Yahweh commanded us to do all these laws, to fear Yahweh our Elohim for our good always, to keep us alive as it is today. And it is righteousness for us when we guard to do all this command before Yahweh our Elohim, as he has commanded us. Chapter 7. When Yahweh your Elohim brings you into the land which you go to possess, he shall also clear away many nations before you, the Hittites and the Girgashites and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than you. And when Yahweh your Elohim gives them over to you, you shall strike them and put them under the ban completely. Make no covenant with them, and show them no favor, and do not intermarry with them. You do not give your daughter to his son, and you do not take his daughter for your son, for he turns your sons away from following me to serve other mighty ones. Then the displeasure of Yahweh shall burn against you, and promptly destroy you. But this is what you do to them. Break down their slaughter places, and smash their pillars, and cut down their asherim, and burn their carved images with fire. For you are a set-apart people to Yahweh your Elohim. Yahweh your Elohim has chosen you to be a people for himself, a treasured possession above all the peoples on the face of the earth. Yahweh did not set his love on you, nor choose you, because you were more numerous than any other people, for you were the least of all peoples. But because of Yahweh loving you, and because of him guarding the oath which he swore to your fathers, Yahweh has brought you out with a strong hand and ransomed you from the house of bondage, from the hand of Pharaoh, sovereign of Mitzrayim. And you shall know that Yahweh your Elohim, he is Elohim, the trustworthy El, guarding covenant and loving commitment for 1,000 generations with those who love him and those who guard his commands, but repaying those who hate him to their face, to destroy them. He does not delay to do so with him who hates him. He repays him to his face. And you shall guard the command and the laws and the right rulings which I command you today to do them. And it shall be because you hear these right rulings and shall guard and do them, that Yahweh your Elohim shall guard with you the covenant and the loving commitment which he swore to your fathers, and shall love you and bless you and increase you, and shall bless the fruit of your womb and the fruit of your land, your grain and your new wine and your oil, the increase of your cattle and the offspring of your flock, in the land of which he swore to your fathers to give you. Blessed are you above all peoples. There is not going to be a barren man or a barren woman among you or among your livestock. And Yahweh shall turn away from you all sickness and put on you none of the evil diseases of Mitzrayim, which you have known. But he shall put them on all those who hate you, and you shall consume all the peoples whom Yahweh your Elohim is delivering to you. Your eye shall not pardon them, and do not serve their mighty ones, for that is a snare to you. When you say in your heart, these nations are greater than I am unable to drive them out. Do not be afraid of them. Remember well what Yahweh your Elohim did to Pharaoh and to all Mitzrayim, the great trials which your eyes saw, and the signs and the wonders, the strong hand and the outstretched arm by which Yahweh your Elohim brought you out. Yahweh your Elohim does so to all the peoples of whom you are afraid. And Yahweh your Elohim also sends the hornet among them, until those who are left, who hide themselves from you, are destroyed. Do not be afraid of them, for Yahweh your Elohim, the great and awesome El, is in your midst. And Yahweh your Elohim shall drive out those nations before you, little by little. You are not allowed to destroy them at once, lest the beasts of the field become too numerous for you. But Yahweh your Elohim shall deliver them over to you, and destroy them with a great destruction until they are consumed. And he shall give their sovereigns into your hand, and you shall destroy their name from under the heavens. No one is going to be able to stand against you until you have destroyed them. The carved images of their mighty ones you are to burn with fire. You do not covet the silver or gold that is on them, nor take it for yourselves, lest you be snared by it. For it is an abomination to Yahweh your Elohim. And do not bring an abomination into your house, lest you be accursed like it. Utterly loathe it, and utterly hate it, for it is accursed. Chapter 8. Guard to do every command which I command you today, that you might live, and shall increase and go in, and shall possess the land of which Yahweh swore to your fathers. And you shall remember that Yahweh your Elohim led you all the way these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble you, prove you, to know what is in your heart, whether you guard his commands or not. And he humbled you, and let you suffer hunger, and fed you with manna which you did not know, nor did your fathers know, to make you know that man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of Yahuwah. Your garments did not wear out on you, nor did your foot swell these 40 years. Thus you shall know in your heart that as a man disciplines his son, so Yahuwah your Elohim disciplines you. Therefore you shall guard the commands of Yahweh your Elohim, to walk in his ways and to fear him. For Yahuwah your Elohim is bringing you into a good land, a land of streams of water, of fountains and springs that flow out of the valleys and hills, a land of wheat and barley, of vines and fig trees and pomegranates, a land of olive oil and honey, a land in which you eat bread without scarcity, in which you do not lack at all, a land whose stones are iron, and out of whose hills you dig copper. And you shall eat and be satisfied, and shall bless Yahuwah your Elohim for the good land which he has given you. Be on guard, lest you forget your Elohim by not guarding his commands and his right rulings and his laws which I command you today. Lest you eat and shall be satisfied, and build lovely houses and shall dwell in them. And your herds and your flocks increase, and your silver and your gold are increased, and all that you have is increased, that your heart then becomes lifted up, and you forget Yahuwah your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim from the house of bondage, who led you through the great and awesome wilderness, fiery serpents and scorpions and thirst, where there was no water, who brought water for you out of the flinty rock, who fed you in the wilderness with manna which your fathers did not know, in order to humble you and to try you, to do you good in the end. You then shall say in your heart, my power and the strength of my hand have made for me this wealth. But you shall remember Yahuwah your Elohim, for it is He who gives you power to get wealth, in order to establish His covenant which He swore to your fathers as it is today. And it shall be, if you by any means forget Yahuwah your Elohim, and follow other mighty ones, and serve them, and bow yourself to them, I have warned you this day that you shall certainly perish, like the nations which Yahuwah is destroying before you. So you are to perish because you did not obey the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim. Chapter 9. Hear, O Yisrael, you are passing over the Yarden today to go in to dispossess nations greater and stronger than yourself, cities great and walled up to the heavens, a people great and tall, the descendants of the Anakim, whom you know, and of whom you've heard it said, who does stand before the descendants of Anak? And you shall know today that Yahuwah your Elohim is He who is passing over before you as a consuming fire. He does destroy them and subdue them before you. So you shall dispossess them and destroy them quickly, as Yahuwah has said to you. Do not think in your heart after Yahuwah your Elohim has driven them out before you, saying, because of my righteousness, Yahuwah has brought me in to possess this land. But it is because of the wrong of these nations that Yahuwah is driving them out from before you. It is not because of your righteousness or the uprightness of your heart that you go in to possess their land, but because of the wrong of these nations that Yahuwah your Elohim drives them out from before you, in order to establish the word which Yahuwah swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Yitzhak, and to Jacob. And you shall know that Yahuwah your Elohim is not giving you this good land to possess because of your righteousness, for you are a stiff-necked people. Remember, do not forget how you provoked to wrath Yahuwah your Elohim in the wilderness, from the day that you came out of the land of Mitzrayim until you came to this place. You have been rebellious against Yahuwah. Even in Horeb, you made Yahuwah wroth, so that Yahuwah was enraged with you to destroy you. When I went up into the mountain to receive the tablets of stone, the tablets of the covenant which Yahuwah made with you, then I stayed on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. I did not eat bread, nor did I drink water. Then Yahuwah gave me the 2 tablets of stone written with the finger of Elohim, and on them were all the words which Yahuwah had spoken to you on the mountain from the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly. And it came to be at the end of 40 days and 40 nights that Yahuwah gave me the 2 tablets of stone, the tablets of the covenant. Then Yahuwah said to me, arise, go down quickly from here, for your people whom you brought out of Mitzrayim have acted corruptly. They have quickly turned aside from the way which I commanded them. They have made themselves a molded image. And Yahuwah spoke to me, saying, I have seen this people, and look, they are stiff-necked people. Leave me alone, so that I destroy them and blot out their name from under the heavens, and make of you a nation stronger and greater than they. So I turned and came down from the mountain, and the mountain burned with fire. And the 2 tablets of the covenant were in my hands. And I looked and saw that you had sinned against Yahuwah your Elohim, and had made yourselves a molded calf. You had quickly turned aside from the way which Yahuwah had commanded you. And I took the 2 tablets, and threw them out of my hands, and broke them before your eyes. And I fell down before Yahuwah as at first, 40 days and 40 nights. I did not eat bread. I did not drink water because of all your sins which you committed in doing evil in the eyes of Yahuwah to provoke him. For I was afraid of the displeasure and rage with which Yahuwah was wroth with you to destroy you. But Yahuwah listened to me that time once more, And Yahweh was very enraged with Aharon to destroy him. So I prayed for Aharon at that time also. And I took your sin, the calf which you made, and burned it with fire, and crushed it, and ground it very small, until it was fine as dust. And I threw its dust into the stream, and came down from the mountain. And at Taberah, and at Massa, and at Kibroth Hattaawah, you made Yahweh wroth. And when Yahuwah sent you from Kadesh Barnea, saying, Go up and possess the land which I have given you, then you rebelled against the mouth of Yahweh your Elohim, and you neither trusted him nor listened to his voice. You have been rebellious against Yahweh from the day that I knew you. So I fell down before Yahweh the 40 days and 40 nights. For I fell down because Yahweh had said he would destroy you. And I prayed to Yahweh and said, O Master Yahweh, do not destroy your people and your inheritance, whom you have ransomed in your greatness, whom you have brought out of Mitzrayim with a strong hand. Remember your servants Abraham and Yitzhak and Jacob. Do not look on the stubbornness of this people, or on their wrong, or on their sin, lest the land from which you brought us should say, Because Yahuwah was not able to bring them out to the land which he promised them, and because he hated them, he has brought them out to kill them in the wilderness. And they are your people, and your inheritance, whom you brought out by your great power, and by your outstretched arm. Chapter 10. At that time Yahuwah said to me, Hew for yourself 2 tablets of stone like the first, and come up to me on the mountain, and you shall make yourself an ark of wood. Then I write on the tablets the words that were on the first tablets, which you broke, and you shall put them in the ark. So I made an ark of acacia wood, hewed 2 tablets of stone like the first, and went up the mountain, with the 2 tablets in my hand. And he wrote on the tablets according to the first writing the 10 words which Yahuwah had spoken to you in the mountain from the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly. Then Yahuwah gave them to me. And I turned and came down from the mountain and put the tablets in the ark which I had made, and they are there as Yahuwah commanded me. Now the children of Israel set out from the wells of Benai Yakan to Moserah. Aharon died there, and he was buried there. And Eleazar his son became priest in his place. From there they sent out to Gugadah, and from Gugadah to Yotbata, a land of rivers of water. At that time Yahuwah separated the tribe of Levi to bear the ark of the covenant of Yahuwah, to stand before Yahuwah, to serve him, and to bless in his name to this day. Therefore Levi has no portion, nor inheritance with his brothers. Yahuwah is his inheritance, as Yahuwah your Elohim promised him. And I stayed in the mountain for 40 days and 40 nights. And Yahuwah heard me at that time also. And Yahuwah chose not to destroy you. And Yahuwah said to me, Arise, go before the people to set out, and let them go in and possess the land which I swore to their fathers to give them. And now, Yisrael, what is Yahuwah your Elohim asking of you, but to fear Yahuwah your Elohim, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, to serve Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart and with all your being, to guard the commands of Yahuwah and his laws which I command you today for your good. See, the heavens and the heaven of heavens belong to Yahuwah your Elohim, also the earth with all that is in it. Yahuwah delighted only in your fathers to love them, and he chose their seed after them, you above all peoples, as it is today. And you shall circumcise the foreskin of your heart, and harden your neck no more. For Yahweh your Elohim is Elohim of mighty ones and master of masters, the great El, mighty and awesome, who shows no partiality nor takes a bribe. He executes right ruling for the fatherless and the widow, and loves the sojourner, giving him food and a garment. And you shall love the sojourner, for you were sojourners in the land of Mitzrayim. Fear Yahweh your Elohim, serve him and cling to him and swear by his name. He is your praise, and he is your Elohim, who has done for you these great and awesome deeds which your eyes have seen. Your fathers went down to Mitzrayim with 70 beings, and now Yahweh Elohim has made you as numerous as the stars of the heavens. Chapter 11. And you shall love Yahweh your Elohim, and guard his charge, even his laws, and his right rulings, and his commands always. And you shall know today, for it is not your children who have not known, and who have not seen the discipline of Yahweh your Elohim, his greatness, his strong hand, and his outstretched arm, and his signs, and his works which he had done in the midst of Mitzrayim, to Pharaoh, sovereign of Mitzrayim, and to all his land, and that which he had done to the army of Mitzrayim, to their horses and their chariots, when he made the waters of the sea of reeds overflow them as they pursued you, and how Yahuwah has destroyed them to this day, and what he had done for you in the wilderness till you came to this place, and what he had done to Dathan and Abiram, sons of Eliab, the son of Reuben, when the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up, and their households, and their tents, and all the living creatures that were in their possession in the midst of all Yisrael. For yours are the eyes that saw all the great work of Yahuwah which he did. And you shall guard every command which I command you today, so that you are strong, and shall go in, and shall possess the land which you are passing over to possess, and to prolong your days in the land which Yahuwah swore to give your fathers, to them and their descendants, a land flowing with milk and honey. For the land which you are going in to possess is not like the land of Mitzrayim, from which you have come, where you sowed your seed and watered it by foot as a vegetable garden. But the land which you are passing over to possess is a land of hills and valleys, which drinks water from the rain of the heavens, a land which Yahuwah your Elohim looks after. The eyes of Yahweh your Elohim are always on it, from the beginning of the year to the latter end of the year. And it shall be that if you diligently obey my commands, which I command you today, to love Yahuwah your Elohim, and to serve him with all your heart and with all your being, then I shall give you the rain for your land in its season, the early rain and the latter rain, and you shall gather in your grain and your new wine and your oil. And I shall give grass in the fields for your livestock, and you shall eat and be satisfied. Guard yourselves, lest your heart be deceived, and you turn aside and serve other mighty ones, and bow down to them. Then the displeasure of Yahweh shall burn against you, and he shall shut up the heavens, and there be no rain, and the land not give its increase. And you shall perish quickly from the good land which Yahweh is giving you. And you shall lay up these words of mine in your heart and in your being, and shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. And you shall teach them to your children, speaking of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates, so that your days and the days of your children are increased on the soil, which Yahuwah swore to your fathers to give them as the days of the heavens on the earth. For if you diligently guard all these commands which I command you to do it, to love Yahuwah your Elohim, to walk in all his ways, and to cling to him. Then Yahuwah shall drive out all these nations before you, and shall dispossess greater and stronger nations than you. Every place on which the sole of your foot treads is yours. From the wilderness and Lebanon, from the river Euphrates, even to the western sea is your border. No man shall stand against you. Yahuwah your Elohim shall put the dread of you and the fear of you upon all the land where you tread, as he has spoken to you. See, I am setting before you today a blessing and a curse. The blessing when you obey the commands of Yahuwah your Elohim, which I command you today, and the curse if you do not obey the commands of Yahuwah your Elohim, but turn aside from the way which I command you today, to go after other mighty ones, which you have not known. And it shall be when Yahuwah your Elohim has brought you into the land of which you go to possess, that you shall put the blessing on Mount Gerizim, and the curse on Mount Ebal. Are they not beyond the Yarden, toward the setting sun, in the land of the Canaanites who dwell in the desert plain opposite Gilgal, beside the terebinth trees of Moreh? For you are passing over the Yarden to go in to possess the land which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you. And you shall possess it and dwell in it, and shall guard to do all the laws and right rulings which I am setting before you today. Chapter 12. These are the laws and right rulings which you guard to do in the land which Yahuwah Elohim of your fathers is giving you to possess all the days that you live on the soil. Completely destroy all the places where the nations which you are dispossessing served their mighty ones, on the high mountains and on the hills and under every green tree. And you shall break down their slaughter places, and smash their pillars, and burn their asherim with fire. And you shall cut down the carved images of their mighty ones, and shall destroy their name out of that place. Do not do so to Yahuwah your Elohim, but seek the place which Yahuwah your Elohim chooses out of all your tribes to put his name there, for his dwelling place, and there you shall enter. And there you shall take your ascending offerings, and your slaughters, and your tithes, and the contributions of your hand, and your vowed offerings, and your voluntary offerings, and the firstlings of your herd and of your flock. And there you shall eat before Yahuwah your Elohim, and shall rejoice in all that you put your hand to, you and your household, in which Yahuwah your Elohim has blessed you. Do not do as we are doing here today, each one doing whatever is right in his own eyes, because you have not yet entered the rest and the inheritance which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you. But you shall pass over the Yarden, and shall dwell in the land which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you to inherit. And he shall give you rest from all your enemies round about, and you shall dwell in safety. And it shall be that unto the place which Yahuwah your Elohim chooses to make his name dwell there, there you are to bring all that I command you, your ascending offerings and your slaughters, and your tithes and the contribution of your hand, and all your choice offerings which you vow to Yahuwah. And you shall rejoice before Yahuwah your Elohim, you and your sons and your daughters and your male servants and your female servants and the Levite who is within your gates, since he has no portion nor inheritance with you. Guard yourself that you do not offer your ascending offerings in every place that you see, except in the place which Yahuwah chooses in one of your tribes. There you are to offer your ascending offerings, and there you are to do all that I command you. Only whatever your being desires you shall slaughter and eat, according to the blessing of Yahuwah your Elohim, which he has given you within all your gates. The unclean and the clean do eat of it, of the gazelle and the deer alike. Only the blood you do not eat. Pour it on the earth like water. You are not allowed to eat within your gates the tithe of your grain, or of your new wine, or of your oil, or of the firstlings of your herd, or your flock, or of any of your offerings which you vow, or of your voluntary offerings, or of the contribution of your hand. But eat them before Yahuwah your Elohim in the place which Yahuwah your Elohim chooses. You and your son and your daughter and your male servant and your female servant and the Levite who is within your gates. And you shall rejoice before Yahuwah your Elohim in all that you put your hands to. Guard yourself that you do not forsake the Levite as long as you live in your land. When Yahuwah your Elohim enlarges your border as he has promised you, and you say, "Let me eat meat," because you long to eat meat, you eat as much meat as your being desires. When the place where Yahuwah your Elohim chooses to put his name is too far from you, then you shall slaughter from your herd and from your flock which Yahuwah has given you, as I have commanded you. And you shall eat within your gates as much as your being desires. Only as the gazelle and the deer are eaten, so you are to eat of it. The unclean and the clean alike eat of it. Only be strong not to eat the blood, for the blood is the life. Do not eat the life with the meat. Do not eat it. You pour it on the earth like water. Do not eat it, that it might be well with you and your children after you, when you do what is right in the eyes of Yahuwah. Only the set-apart gifts which you have and your vowed offerings you are to take up and go to the place which Yahuwah chooses. And you shall make your ascending offerings, the meat and the blood, on the slaughter place of Yahuwah your Elohim. And the blood of your slaughterings is poured out on the slaughter place of Yahuwah your Elohim, and you eat the meat. Guard and obey all these words which I command you, that it might be well with you and your children after you forever, when you do what is good and right in the eyes of Yahuwah your Elohim. When Yahuwah your Elohim does cut off from before you the nations which you go to dispossess, and you dispossess them and dwell in their land, guard yourself that you are not ensnared to follow them after they are destroyed from before you, and that you do not inquire about their mighty ones, saying, "How did these nations serve their mighty ones? And let me do so too." Do not do so to Yahuwah your Elohim, for every abomination which Yahuwah hates they have done to their mighty ones, for they even burn their sons and daughters in the fire to their mighty ones. All the words I am commanding you, guard to do it. Do not add to it, nor take away from it. Chapter 13. When there arises among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and he shall give you a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder shall come true, of which he has spoken to you, saying, "Let us go after other mighty ones which you have not known, and serve them." Do not listen to the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams, for Yahuwah your Elohim is trying you to know whether you love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart and with all your being. Walk after Yahuwah your Elohim and fear him and guard his commands and obey his voice and serve him and cling to him. And that prophet or that dreamer of dreams is put to death because he has spoken apostasy against Yahuwah your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim and ransomed you from the house of bondage, to make you stray from the way in which Yahuwah your Elohim commanded you to walk. Thus you shall purge the evil from your midst. When your brother, the son of your mother, or your son or your daughter, or the wife of your bosom, or your friend who is as your own being, entices you secretly, saying, "Let us go and serve other mighty ones which you have not known, neither you nor your fathers, of the mighty ones of the people which are all around you, near to you or far off from you, from the end of the earth to the other end of the earth. Do not agree with him or listen to him, nor shall your eye pardon nor spare him or conceal him, but you shall certainly kill him. Your hand is first against him to put him to death, and afterward the hand of all the people. And you shall stone him with stones until he dies, because he sought to entice you away from Yahweh your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim from the house of bondage. And let all Yisrael hear and fear, and not again do any such evil matter as this in your midst. When you hear someone in one of your cities which Yahweh your Elohim gives you to dwell in, saying, Some men, sons of Belial, have gone out of your midst and led the inhabitants of their city astray, saying, Let us go and serve other mighty ones whom you have not known. Then you shall inquire, search out and ask diligently, and see if the matter is true and established, that this abomination was done in your midst. You shall certainly strike the inhabitants of that city with the edge of the sword, putting it under the ban, and all that is in it, and its livestock with the edge of the sword, and gather all its plunder into the middle of the street, and completely burn with fire the city and all its plunder before Yahweh your Elohim, and it shall be a heap forever, never to be built again. And none of that which is put under the ban is to cling to your hand, so that Yahweh turns from the fierceness of his displeasure, and shall show you compassion, love you, and increase you as he swore to your fathers, when you obey the voice of Yahweh your Elohim, to guard all his commands which I command you today, to do what is right in the eyes of Yahweh your Elohim. Chapter 14. You are the children of Yahweh your Elohim. Do not cut yourselves, nor shave the front of your head for the dead. For you are a set-apart people to Yahweh your Elohim, and Yahweh has chosen you to be a people for himself, a treasured possession above all the peoples who are on the face of the earth. Do not eat whatever is abominable. These are the living creatures which you do eat: ox, sheep, and goat, deer, and gazelle, and roebuck, and wild goat, and mountain goat, and antelope, and mountain sheep, and every beast that has a split hoof divided in two, chewing the cud, among the beasts you do eat. But of those chewing the cud, or of those having a split hoof completely divided, you do not eat. Such as these, the camel, and the hare, and the rabbit, for they chew the cud, but they do not have a split hoof. They are unclean for you. And the pig is unclean for you, because it has a split hoof, but does not chew the cud. You do not eat their flesh or touch their dead carcasses. These you do eat, of all that are in the waters. All that have fins and scales you do eat. And whatever does not have fins and scales you do not eat. It is unclean for you. Any clean bird you do eat, but these you do not eat: the eagle, and the vulture, and the black vulture, and the red kite, and the falcon, and the buzzard after their kinds, and every raven after its kind, and the ostrich, and the nighthawk, and the seagull, and the hawk after their kinds, and the little owl, and the great owl, and the white owl, and the pelican, and the carrion vulture, and the fisher owl, and the stork, and the heron after its kind, and the hoopoe, and the bat. And every creeping insect that flies is unclean for you. They are not eaten. Do not eat whatever dies of itself. Give it to the sojourner who is within your gates to eat it, or sell it to a foreigner. For you are a set-apart people to Yahweh your Elohim. Do not cook a young goat in its mother's milk. You shall tithe without fail all the yield of your grain that the field brings forth year by year. And you shall eat before Yahuwah your Elohim in the place where he chooses to make his name dwell, the tithe of your grain and your new wine and your oil, and of the firstlings of your herds and your sheep, so that you learn to fear Yahuwah your Elohim always. But when the way is too long for you so that you are not able to bring the tithe, or when the place where Yahuwah your Elohim chooses to put his name is too far from you, when Yahuwah your Elohim is blessing you, then you shall give it in silver, and shall take the silver in your hand, and go to the place which Yahuwah your Elohim chooses. And you shall use the silver for whatever your being desires, for cattle or sheep, for wine or strong drink, for whatever your being desires. And you shall eat there before Yahuwah your Elohim, and you shall rejoice, you and your household. And do not forsake the Levite who is within your gates, for he has no part nor inheritance with you. At the end of every 3rd year, you bring out all the tithe of your increase of that year, and store it up within your gates. And the Levite, because he has no portion nor inheritance with you, and the sojourner, and the fatherless, and the widow who are within your gates, shall come and eat and be satisfied, so that Yahuwah your Elohim does bless you in all the work of your hand which you do. Chapter 15. At the end of every 7 years you make a release of debts. And this is the word of the release. Every creditor is to release what he has loaned to his neighbor. He does not require it of his neighbor or his brother, because it is called the release of Yahuwah. Of a foreigner you could require it, but your hand is to release whatever is owed by your brother. Only there should be no poor among you. For Yahuwah does greatly bless you in the land which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you to possess as an inheritance. Only if you diligently obey the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim, to guard to do all these commands which I am commanding you today. For Yahuwah your Elohim shall bless you, as he promised you, and you shall lend to many nations, but you shall not borrow. And you shall rule over many nations, but they do not rule over you. When there is a poor man with you, one of your brothers, within any of the gates in your land which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you, do not harden your heart, nor shut your hand from your poor brother. For you shall certainly open your hand to him, and certainly lend him enough for his need, whatever he needs. Be on guard, lest there be a thought of Belial in your heart, saying, the 7th year, the year of release is near. And your eye is evil against your poor brother, and you give him not. And he shall cry out to Yahuwah against you, and it shall be a sin in you. You shall certainly give to him, and your heart should not be grieved when you give to him, because for this reason Yahuwah your Elohim does bless you in all your work, and in all to which you put your hand, because the poor one does not cease from the land. Therefore I am commanding you, saying, you shall certainly open your hand to your brother, to your poor, and to your needy one in your land. When your brother is sold to you, a Hebrew man or a Hebrew woman, and shall serve you 6 years, then let him go free from you in the 7th year. And when you send him away free from you, let him not go away empty-handed. You shall richly supply him from your flock and from your threshing floor and from your winepress, with that which Yahuwah has blessed you with. Give to him. And you shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Mitzrayim, and Yahuwah your Elohim ransomed you. Therefore I am commanding you this word today, and it shall be when he says to you, I do not go away from you, because he loves you and your house, because it is good for him with you. Then you shall take an awl and thrust it through his ear to the door, and he shall be your servant forever. Do the same to your female servant. Let it not be hard in your eyes when you send him away free from you, for he has been worth a double hired servant in serving you 6 years. And Yahuwah, your Elohim, shall bless you in all that you do. Set apart to Yahuwah, your Elohim, all the firstborn males that come from your herd and your flock. Do no work with the firstborn of your flock, nor shear the firstborn of your flock. You and your household are to eat it before Yahuwah your Elohim year by year in the place which Yahuwah chooses. But when there is any defect in it, lame or blind, or has any evil defect, do not slaughter it to Yahuwah your Elohim. Eat it within your gates, the unclean and the clean alike, as the gazelle and as the deer. Only do not eat its blood. Pour it on the ground like water. Chapter 16. Guard the new moon of Abib, and perform the Pesach to Yahuwah your Elohim. For in the new moon of Abib, Yahuwah your Elohim brought you out of Mitzrayim by night. And you shall slaughter the Pesach to Yahuwah your Elohim from the flock and the herd, in the place where Yahuwah chooses to put his name. Eat no leavened bread with it. For 7 days you eat unleavened bread with it, bread of affliction, because you came out of the land of Mitzrayim in haste, so that you remember the day in which you came out of the land of Mitzrayim all the days of your life. And no leaven should be seen with you in all your border for 7 days. Neither should any of the meat which you slaughter in the evening on the first day stay all night until morning. You are not allowed to slaughter the Pesach within any of your gates which Yahuwah your Elohim gives you, but at the place where Yahuwah your Elohim chooses to make his name dwell. There you slaughter the Pesach. In the evening, at the going down of the sun, at the appointed time you came out of Mitzrayim. You shall roast and eat it in the place where Yahuwah your Elohim chooses, and in the morning you shall turn and go to your tents. 6 days you eat unleavened bread, and on the 7th day there is a closing festival to Yahuwah your Elohim. You do no work. Count 7 weeks for yourself. Begin to count 7 weeks from the time you begin to put the sickle to the grain. And you shall perform the festival of Shavuot to Yahuwah your Elohim, according to the voluntary offering from your hand, which you give as Yahuwah your Elohim blesses you. And you shall rejoice before Yahuwah your Elohim, you and your son and your daughter and your male servant and your female servant, and the Levite who is within your gates, and the sojourner, and the fatherless, and the widow who are in your midst, at the place where Yahuwah your Elohim chooses to make his name dwell. And you shall remember that you were a slave in Mitzrayim, and you shall guard and do these laws. Perform the festival of Sukkot for 7 days after the ingathering from your threshing floor and from your winepress. And you shall rejoice in your festival, and your son and your daughter and your male servant and your female servant, and the Levite and the sojourner and the fatherless and the widow who are within your gates. For 7 days you shall celebrate to Yahuwah your Elohim in the place which Yahuwah chooses, because Yahuwah your Elohim does bless you in all the increase of your work of your hands. And you shall be only rejoicing. 3 times a year, all your males appear before Yahuwah your Elohim in the place which he chooses, at the festival of Matzot, and at the festival of Shavuot, and at the festival of Sukkot. And none should appear before Yahuwah empty-handed, but each one with the gift of his hand according to the blessing of Yahuwah your Elohim, which he has given you. Appoint judges and officers within all your gates, which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you, according to your tribes. And they shall judge the people with righteous right ruling. Do not distort right ruling. Do not show partiality, nor take a bribe, for a bribe blinds the eyes of the wise and twists the words of the righteous. Follow righteousness, righteousness alone, so that you live and inherit the land which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you. Do not plant for yourself any tree as an Asherah,
near the slaughter place of Yahweh your Elohim, that you make for yourself. And do not set up a pillar, which Yahweh your Elohim hates.
Chapter 17. Do not slaughter to Yahweh your Elohim a bull or sheep which has any blemish, any evil matter, for that is an abomination to Yahweh your Elohim. When there is found in your midst, in any of your cities which Yahweh your Elohim is giving you, a man or a woman who does what is evil in the eyes of Yahweh your Elohim, in transgressing his covenant, and has gone and served other mighty ones, and bowed down to them, or to the sun, or to the moon, or to any of the host of the heavens, which I have not commanded, and it has been made known to you, and you have heard, and have searched diligently, then see, if true the matter is confirmed that such an abomination has been done in Israel, then you shall bring out to your gates that man or woman who has done this evil matter, and you shall stone to death that man or woman with stones. At the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses shall he that is to die be put to death. He is not put to death by the mouth of 1 witness. The hand of the witnesses shall be first against him to put him to death, and the hand of all the people last. So you shall purge the evil from your midst. When any matter arises which is too hard for you to judge, between blood and blood, between plea and plea, or between stroke and stroke, the matters of strife within your gates, then you shall rise and go up to the place which Yahweh your Elohim chooses, and shall come to the priests, the Levites, and to the judge who is in those days, and shall inquire, and they shall declare to you the word of right ruling. And you shall do according to the word which they declare to you from that place which Yahweh chooses, and you shall guard to do according to all that they instruct you. Do according to the Torah in which they teach you, according to the right ruling which they say to you. You do not turn to the right or to the left from the word which they declare to you. And the man who acts arrogantly, so as not to listen to the priest who stands to serve there before Yahweh your Elohim, or the judge, that man shall die. So you shall purge the evil from Israel. And let all the people hear and fear, and no longer do arrogantly. When you come to the land which Yahweh your Elohim is giving you, and shall possess it, and shall dwell in it, and you shall say, Let me set a sovereign over me, like all the nations that are around me. You shall certainly set a sovereign over you, whom Yahweh your Elohim shall choose. Set a sovereign over you from among your brothers. You are not allowed to set a foreigner over you, who is not your brother. Only he is not to increase horses for himself, nor cause the people to return to Mitzrayim to increase horses. For Yahweh has said to you, Do not return that way again. And he is not to increase wives for himself, lest his heart turn away. Nor is he to greatly increase silver and gold for himself. And it shall be when he sits on the throne of his reign, that he shall write for himself a copy of this Torah in a book, from the one before the priests, the Levites. And it shall be with him, and he shall read it all the days of his life, so that he learns to fear Yahuwah his Elohim, and guard all the words of this Torah, and these laws, to do them, so that his heart is not lifted up above his brothers, and so as not to turn aside from the command, right or left, so that he prolongs his days in his reign, he and his children, in the midst of Yisrael. Chapter 18. The priests, the Levites, all the tribe of Levi, have no part nor inheritance with Yisrael. They are to eat the offerings of Yahuwah made by fire, and his inheritance. But among his brothers, Levi has no inheritance. Yahuwah is his inheritance, as he has spoken to him. And this is the priest's right from the people, from those who slaughter a slaughtering, whether it a bull or sheep. They shall give to the priest the shoulder
and the 2 cheeks, and the stomach, the first fruits of your grain, and your new wine, and your oil, and the first of the fleece of your sheep you give to him. For Yahweh your Elohim has chosen him out of all your tribes to stand and serve in the name of Yahweh, him and his sons forever. And when the Levite comes from one of your gates, from where he has sojourned among all Yisrael, and shall come with all the desire of his being to the place of which Yahweh chooses, then he shall serve in the name of Yahweh his Elohim, like all his brothers the Levites who are standing there before Yahweh. They are to have portion for portion to eat, besides what comes from the sale of his inheritance. When you come into the land which Yahweh your Elohim is giving you, do not learn to do according to the abominations of those nations. Let no one be found among you who makes his son or his daughter pass through the fire, or one who practices divination, or a user of magic, or one who interprets omens, or a sorcerer, or one who conjures spells, or medium, or spiritist, or one who calls up the dead. For whoever does these is an abomination to Yahweh, and because of these abominations, Yahweh your Elohim drives them out from before you. Be perfect before Yahweh your Elohim. For these nations whom you are possessing do listen to those using magic and to diviners. But as for you, Yahweh your Elohim has not appointed such for you. Yahweh your Elohim shall raise up for you a prophet, like me, from your midst, from your brothers. Listen to him, according to all you asked of Yahweh your Elohim in Horeb, in the day of the assembly, saying, Let me not hear again the voice of Yahweh my Elohim, nor let me see this great fire any more, lest I die. And Yahweh said to me,
What they have spoken is good. I shall raise up for them a prophet, like you, out of the midst of their brothers, and I shall put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak to them all that I command him. And it shall be the man who does not listen to my words, which he speaks in my name, I require it of him. But the prophet who presumes to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or who speaks in the name of other mighty ones, even that prophet shall die.
And when you say in your heart, How do we know the word which Yahweh has not spoken? When the prophet speaks in the name of Yahweh, and the word is not, or comes not, that is the word which Yahweh has not spoken. The prophet has spoken it presumptuously. Do not be afraid of him. Chapter 19. When Yahweh, your Elohim, cuts off the nations whose land Yahweh, your Elohim, is giving you, and you dispossess them, and dwell in their cities and in their houses, separate 3 cities for yourself in the midst of your land, which Yahweh, your Elohim, is giving you to possess. Prepare a way for yourself, and divide into 3 parts the border of your land, which Yahweh, your Elohim, is giving you to inherit, that any manslayer shall flee there. And this matter of the manslayer who flees there and lives, he who strikes his neighbor unknowingly, not having hated him in time past, even he who goes to the forest with his neighbor to cut timber, and his hand swings a stroke with the axe to cut down the tree, and the head slips from the handle, and strikes his neighbor so that he dies. Let him flee to one of these cities and live, lest the Redeemer of blood, while his displeasure is hot, pursue the manslayer and overtake him, because the way is long, and shall strike his being, though he was not worthy of death, since he had not hated him before. Therefore I am commanding you, saying, Separate 3 cities for yourself. And if Yahweh your Elohim enlarges your border, as he swore to your fathers, and has given you the land which he had promised to give to your fathers, when you guard all this command to do it, which I am commanding you today, to love Yahuwah your Elohim, and to walk in his ways all the days. Then you shall add 3 more cities for yourself besides these 3, so that the innocent blood is not shed in the midst of your land which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you as an inheritance, or blood guilt shall be upon you. But when anyone hates his neighbor, and shall lie in wait for him, and rise against him, and strike his being so that he dies, then he shall flee to one of these cities. And the elders of his city shall send and bring him from there, and give him into the hand of the Redeemer of blood, and he shall die. Your eye shall not pardon him, but you shall purge the blood of the innocent from Israel, so that it might be well with you. Do not remove your neighbor's boundary, which those in the past have set in your inheritance, which you inherit in the land that Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you to possess. One witness does not rise up against a man concerning any crookedness or any sin that he commits. At the mouth of 2 witnesses, or at the mouth of 3 witnesses, a matter is established. When a malicious witness rises up against any man to accuse him of turning aside, then both men who have the dispute shall stand before Yahuwah, before the priests and the judges who serve in those days. And the judges shall diligently search and see if the witness is a false witness who has falsely accused his brother. Then you shall do to him as he thought to have done to his brother. Thus you shall purge the evil from your midst. And let the rest hear and fear. And never again do this matter in your midst. And let your eye not pardon, life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot. Chapter 20. When you go out to battle against your enemies, and shall see horses and chariots and people more numerous than you, do not be afraid of them, for Yahuwah your Elohim, who brought you up from the land of Mitzrayim, is with you. And it shall be when you draw near to the battle, that the priest shall come and speak to the people, and shall say to them, Hear, O Yisrael, you are drawing near today to battle with your enemies. Do not let your heart faint. Do not fear or tremble or be afraid before them. For Yahuwah your Elohim is he who goes with you to fight for you against your enemies, to save you. And the officers shall speak to the people, saying, Who is the man who has built a new house and has not dedicated it? Let him go and return to his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man dedicate it. And who is the man who has planted a vineyard and has not begun to use it? Let him also go and return to his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man should begin to use it. And who is the man who is engaged to a woman and has not taken her? Let him go and return to his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man take her. And the officers shall speak further to the people and say, Who is the man who is afraid and tender of heart? Let him go and return to his house, lest the heart of his brothers faint like his heart. And it shall be, when the officers have finished speaking to the people, that they shall appoint commanders of the divisions to lead the people. When you draw near to a city to fight against it, then you shall make a call for peace to it. And it shall be that if it accepts your call for peace, and shall open to you, then all the people found in it are to be your compulsory labor and serve you. But if it does not make peace with you, and shall fight against you, then you shall besiege it. And Yahuwah your Elohim shall give it into your hands, and you shall strike every male in it with the edge of the sword. Only the women, and the little ones, and the livestock, and all that is in the city, all of its spoil, you take as plunder for yourself, and you shall eat the enemy's plunder which Yahuwah your Elohim gives you. Do so to all the cities which are very far from you, which are not of the cities of these nations, only of the cities of these people which Yahuwah your Elohim gives you as an inheritance. You do not keep alive any that breathe. But you shall certainly put them under the ban, the Hittite,
and the Amorite, and the Canaanite, and the Perizzite, and the Hittite, and the Jebusite, as Yahweh your Elohim has commanded you, lest they teach you to do according to all their abominations which they have done for their mighty ones. Then you sin against Yahuwah your Elohim. When you besiege a city for a long time by fighting against it to take it, you do not destroy its trees by wielding an axe against them. If you do eat of them, do not cut them down. For is the tree of the field a man to be besieged by you? Only the trees which you know are not trees for food, you do destroy and cut down to build siege works against the city that is fighting against you, until it falls. Chapter 21. When anyone is found slain, lying in the field in the land which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you to possess, and it's not known who struck him, then your elders and your judges shall go out, and they shall measure the distance from the slain man to the cities round about. And it shall be that the elders of the city nearest to the slain man shall take a heifer, which has not been worked, and which has not pulled with a yoke. And the elders of that city shall bring the heifer down to a wadi with flowing water, which is neither plowed nor sown, and they shall break the heifer's neck there in the wadi. And the priests, the sons of Levi, shall come near, for Yahuwah your Elohim has chosen them to serve him, and to bless in the name of Yahuwah. And by their mouth every strife and every stroke is tried. And let all the elders of that city nearest to the slain man wash their hands over the heifer whose neck was broken in the wadi. And they shall answer and say, Our hands have not shed this blood, nor have our eyes seen it. O Yahuwah, forgive your people, Yisrael, whom you have ransomed, and do not allow innocent blood in the midst of your people, Yisrael, and the blood guilt shall be pardoned to them. Thus you purge the guilt of innocent blood from your midst, when you do what is right in the eyes of Yahuwah, when you go out to fight against your enemies. And Yahuwah your Elohim shall give them into your hand, and you shall take them captive. And shall see among the captives a fair woman of form, and shall delight in her, and take her for your wife. Then you shall bring her home to your house, and shall shave her head, and trim her nails, and put aside the mantle of her captivity, and shall dwell in your house, and mourn her father and her mother a month of days. And after that you shall go into her, and be her husband, and she shall be your wife. And it shall be, if you are not pleased with her, then you shall let her go at her desire. But you do not sell her at all for silver. You do not treat her harshly, since you have humbled her. When a man has two wives, one loved and the other unloved, and they have borne him children, both the loved and the unloved, and the firstborn son is of her who is unloved, then it shall be on the day he makes his sons to inherit his possessions, he is not allowed to treat the son of the beloved wife as firstborn, in the face of the son of the unloved, who is truly the firstborn. But he is to acknowledge the son of the unloved wife as the firstborn by giving him a double portion of all that he has, for he is the beginning of his strength. The right of the firstborn is his. When a man has a wayward and rebellious son who is not listening to the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, and who, when they have disciplined him, does not listen to them, then his father and his mother shall take hold of him and bring him out to the elders of his city, to the gate of his city, and shall say to the elders of the city, This son of ours is wayward and rebellious. He is not listening to our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard. Then all of the men of his city shall stone him to death with stones. Thus you shall purge the evil from your midst, and let all Yisrael hear and fear. And when a man has committed a sin worthy of death, then he shall be put to death, and you shall hang him on a tree. Let his body not remain overnight on the tree, for you shall certainly bury him the same day. For he who is hanged is accursed of Elohim.
so that you do not defile the land which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you as an inheritance. Chapter 22. When you see your brother's ox or his sheep straying away, you shall not hide yourself from them. Return them to your brother without fail. And if your brother is not near you, or if you do not know him, then you shall bring it to your own house, and it shall be with you until your brother seeks it. Then you shall return it to him. And so you do with his donkey, and so you do with his garment, and so you do with whatever your brother loses, which he has lost and you have found. You are not allowed to hide yourself. And when you see your brother's donkey or his ox fall down on the way, you shall not hide yourself from them. Help him, raise them without fail. A woman does not wear that which pertains to a man, nor does a man put on a woman's garment. For whoever does this is an abomination to Yahuwah your Elohim. When you come upon a bird's nest along the way in any tree or on the ground, with young ones or eggs, with the mother sitting on the young or on the eggs, do not take the mother with the young. Let the mother go without fail, and take the young for yourself, so that it might be well with you, and that you shall prolong your days. When you build a new house, then you shall make a parapet for your roof, so that you do not bring blood guilt on your house when one falls from it. Do not sow your vineyard with different kinds of seeds, lest the yield of the seed which you have sown and the fruit of your vineyard be defiled. Do not plow with an ox and a donkey together. Do not put on a garment of different kinds of wool and linen together. Make tassels on the four corners of the garment with which you cover yourself. When any man takes a wife and shall go in to her, and shall hate her, and shall make abusive charges against her, and bring an evil name on her, and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her I did not find her a maiden. Then the father and the mother of the young woman shall take and bring out the proof of the girl's maidenhood to the elders of the city at the gate. And the girl's father shall say to the elders, I gave my daughter to this man as wife, and he hates her. And see, he has made abusive charges against her, saying, I did not find your daughter a maiden. And yet these are the proofs of my daughter's maidenhood. And they shall spread the garment before the elders of the city. And the elders of that city shall take that man and punish him, and fine him 100 pieces of silver, and give them to the father of the young woman, because he has brought an evil name on a maiden of Israel. And she is to be his wife. He is not allowed to put her away all his days. But if the matter is true, that the girl was not found a maiden, then they shall bring out the girl to the door of her father's house, and the men of her city shall stone her to death with stones, because she has done wickedness in Israel, to whore in her father's house. Thus you shall purge the evil from your midst. When a man is found lying with a woman married to a husband, then both of them shall die, both the man that lay with the woman and the woman. Thus you shall purge the evil from Israel. When a girl who is a maiden is engaged to a husband, and a man finds her in the city and lies with her, then you shall bring them both out to the gate of that city, and shall stone them to death with stones. The girl, because she did not cry out in the city, and the man, because he has humbled his neighbor's wife. Thus you shall purge the evil from your midst. But if a man finds the girl who is engaged in the field, and the man takes hold of her and lies with her, then only the man who lay with her shall die. But you shall do no matter to the girl. The girl has no sin worthy of death, for the matter is like a man who rises against his neighbor and murders him, a being. For he found her in the field, and she cried out, the engaged girl, but without anyone to save her. When a man finds a girl who is a maiden, who is not engaged, and he seizes her and lies with her, and they are found out, then the man who lay with her shall give to the girl's father 50 pieces of silver, and she is to be his wife because he has humbled her. He is not allowed to put her away all his days. A man does not take his father's wife, nor uncover the corner of his father's garment.
Chapter 23. He who is wounded by crushing of testicles, or whose penis is cut off, shall not enter into the community of Yahuwah. A mamzer shall not enter the community of Yahuwah. Even a 10th generation of his shall not enter the community of Yahuwah. An Ammonite or Moabite shall not enter the assembly of Yahuwah. Even a 10th generation of them shall not ever enter the assembly of Yahuwah, because they did not meet you with bread and water on the way when you came out of Mitzrayim, and because they hired against you Bilam, son of Beor, from Pethor, of Aram Naharaim, to curse you. But Yahuwah your Elohim refused to listen to Bilam, and Yahuwah your Elohim turned the curse into a blessing for you, because Yahuwah your Elohim loves you. Do not seek their peace, nor their good, all your days forever. Do not loathe an Edomite, for he is your brother. Do not loathe a Mitzrite, because you are a sojourner in his land. The children of the 3rd generation born to them do enter the assembly of Yahuwah. When the camp goes out against your enemies, then you shall guard yourself from every evil matter. When there is any man among you who is not clean because of an emission in the night, then he shall go outside the camp. Let him not come into the midst of the camp. And it shall be at the approach of evening that he bathes with water. And when the sun sets, let him come into the midst of the camp. And you shall have a place outside the camp where you shall go out. And you shall have a sharp implement among your equipment. And when you sit down outside, you shall dig with it and turn and cover your excrement. For Yahuwah your Elohim walks in the midst of your camp to deliver you and give your enemies over to you. Therefore your camp shall be set apart, so that he does not see unclean matter among you, and shall turn away from you. You do not hand over to his master the slave who has escaped from his master to you. Let him dwell with you in your midst, in the place which he chooses within one of your gates, where it is pleasing to him. Do not oppress him. None of the daughters of Israel is to be a cult prostitute, nor any of the sons of Israel be a cult prostitute. Do not bring the harlot fee of a whore, or the pay of a dog to the house of Yahuwah your Elohim for any vowed offering, for both of these are an abomination to Yahuwah your Elohim. Do not lend at interest to your brother, interest of silver, interest of food, or interest of whatever is lent at interest. To a foreigner you lend at interest, but to your brother you do not lend at interest, so that Yahuwah your Elohim might bless you in all that you put your hand to in the land which you are entering to possess. When you make a vow to Yahuwah your Elohim, do not delay to pay it, for Yahuwah your Elohim is certainly requiring it of you, and it shall be sin in you. But when you abstain from vowing, it is not sin in you. That which has gone from your lips you shall guard and do, for you voluntarily vowed to Yahuwah your Elohim what you have promised with your mouth. When you come into your neighbor's vineyard, you shall eat to the satisfaction of your desire, but do not put any in a receptacle of yours. When you come into your neighbor's standing grain, you shall pluck the heads with your hand, but do not use a sickle on your neighbor's standing grain. Chapter 24. When a man takes a wife and shall marry her, then it shall be, if she finds no favor in his eyes, because he has found a matter of uncoveredness in her, and he shall write her a certificate of divorce, and put it in her hand, and send her out of his house. And if she left his house and went and became another man's wife, and the latter husband shall hate her, and write her a certificate of divorce, and put it in her hand, and send her out of his house, or when the latter husband dies who took her to be his wife, then her former husband who sent her away is not allowed to take her back to be his wife after she has been defiled, for that would be an abomination before Yahuwah. And do not bring sin on the land which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you as an inheritance. When a man has taken a new wife, let him not go out into the army, nor let any matter be imposed upon him. He shall be exempt 1 year for the sake of his home. to rejoice with his wife whom he has taken. No one takes in pledge the lower or the upper millstone, for he would be taking a life in pledge. When a man is found kidnapping any of his brothers of the children of Israel, and treats him harshly or sells him, then that kidnapper shall die. Thus you shall purge the evil from your midst. Take heed in an outbreak of leprosy, to diligently guard and do according to all that the priests, the Levites, teach you, as I have commanded them, so shall you guard to do. Remember what Yahuwah your Elohim did to Miriam on the way when you came out of Mitzrayim. When you lend your brother a loan, do not go into his house to get his pledge. Stand outside and let the man to whom you lend bring the pledge out to you. And if the man is poor, do not sleep with his pledge. By all means return the pledge to him at sundown, and he shall sleep in his own garment and shall bless you. And it shall be righteousness to you before Yahuwah your Elohim. Do not oppress a hired servant who is poor and needy of your brothers or of your sojourners who are in your land within your gates. Give him his wages on the same day, and do not let the sun go down on it, for he is poor and lifts up his being to it, so that he does not cry out against you to Yahuwah, and it shall be sin in you. Fathers are not put to death for their children, and children are not put to death for their fathers. Each is to die for his own sin. Do not twist the right ruling of a sojourner or the fatherless, nor take the garment of a widow. But you shall remember that you were a slave in Mitzrayim, and that Yahuwah your Elohim ransomed you from there. Therefore I am commanding you to do this word. When you reap your harvest in your field, and have forgotten a sheaf in the field, do not go back to get it. Let it be for the sojourner, for the fatherless, and for the widow, so that Yahuwah your Elohim might bless you in all the work of your hands. When you beat your olive trees, do not examine the branch behind you. Let it be for the sojourner, for the fatherless, and for the widow. When you gather the grapes of your vineyard, do not glean behind you. Let it be for the sojourner, for the fatherless, and for the widow. And you shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Mitzrayim. Therefore, I am commanding you to do this word. Chapter 25. When there is a dispute between men, then they shall come unto judgment, and they shall be judged, and the righteous declared righteous, and the wrongdoer declared wrong. And it shall be, if the wrongdoer is to be struck, that the judge shall cause him to lie down, and be struck in presence with the number of blows according to his wrong. 40 strikes he give him, but no more, lest he strike him with many more blows than these, and your brother be degraded before your eyes. Do not muzzle an ox while it is threshing. When brothers dwell together, and one of them has died and has no son, the widow of the dead man shall not become a stranger's outside. Her husband's brother does go into her, and shall take her as his wife, and perform the duty of a husband's brother to her. And it shall be that the firstborn son, which she bears, does rise up for the name of his dead brother, so that his name is not blotted out of Yisrael. But if the man does not desire to take his brother's wife, then let his brother's wife go up to the gate to the elders and say, My husband's brother refuses to raise up a name to his brother in Yisrael. He does not agree to perform the duty of my husband's brother. The elders of his city shall then call him and speak to him, and he shall stand and say, I have no desire to take her. Then his brother's wife shall come to him in the presence of the elders, and remove his sandal from his foot, and shall spit in his face, and answer and say, Thus it is done to the man who does not build up his brother's house. And in Yisrael his name shall be called, the house of him who had a sandal removed. When men fight with one another, a man and his brother, And the wife of one shall draw near to rescue her husband from the hand of the one striking him, and shall put out her hand and take hold of him by the genitals. Then you shall cut off her hand. Your eye does not pardon. You shall not have in your bag differing weights, a heavy and a light. You shall not have in your house differing measures, a large and a small. You shall have a perfect and right weight, a perfect and right measure, so that they prolong your days on the soil, which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you. For all who do these, and all who do unrighteously, are an abomination to Yahuwah your Elohim. Remember what Amalek did to you on the way as you were coming out of Mitzrayim, how he met you on the way and attacked your back, all the feeble ones in your rear, when you were tired and weary, and he did not fear Elohim. Therefore it shall be, when Yahuwah your Elohim has given you rest from your enemies all around, in the land which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you to possess as an inheritance, that you blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under the heavens. Do not forget. Chapter 26. And it shall be when you come into the land which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you as an inheritance, and you possess it and dwell in it, that you shall take some of the first of all the fruits of the soil, which you bring from your land, that Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you, and shall put it in a basket and go to the place where Yahuwah your Elohim chooses to make his name dwell there. And you shall come to the one who is priest in those days and say to him, I shall declare today that Yahuwah your Elohim, that I have come to the land which Yahuwah swore to our fathers to give us. And the priest shall take the basket from your hand and place it before the slaughter place of Yahuwah your Elohim. And you shall answer and say before Yahuwah your Elohim, My father was a perishing Aramean, and he went down to Mitzrayim and sojourned there with a few men. And there he became a nation, great, mighty, and numerous. But the Mitzrites did evil to us, and afflicted us, and imposed hard labor on us. Then we cried out to Yahuwah Elohim of our fathers, and Yahuwah heard our voice, and saw our affliction, and our toil, and our oppression. And Yahuwah brought us out of Mitzrayim with a strong hand, and with an outstretched arm, with great fear, and with signs and wonders. And he brought us to this place, and has given us this land, a land flowing with milk and honey. And now, see, I have brought the first fruits of the land, which you, O Yahuwah, have given me. Then you shall place it before Yahuwah your Elohim, and bow down before Yahuwah your Elohim, and shall rejoice in all the good which Yahuwah your Elohim has given to you and your house, you and the Levite, and the sojourner who is among you, when you have completed tithing all the tithe of your increase in the 3rd year, which is the year of tithing, and have given it to the Levite, to the sojourner, to the fatherless, and to the widow, and they have eaten within your gates, and have been satisfied. Then you shall say before Yahuwah your Elohim, I have put away the set-apart portion from my house, and also have given it to the Levite, and to the sojourner, and to the fatherless, and to the widow, according to all your command which you have commanded me. I have not transgressed your commands, nor have I forgotten. I have not eaten any of it when in mourning, nor have I removed any of it for any unclean use, nor given any of it for the dead. I have obeyed the voice of Yahuwah my Elohim. I have done according to all that you have commanded me. Look from your set-apart dwelling place from the heavens, and bless your people Yisrael, and the land which you have given us, as you swore to our fathers, a land flowing with milk and honey. Today, Yahuwah your Elohim is commanding you to do these laws and right rulings, and you shall guard and do them with all your heart and with all your being. You have today caused Yahuwah to proclaim to be your Elohim, and to walk in his ways and guard his laws and his commands and his right rulings, and to obey his voice.
And Yahuwah has caused you to proclaim today to be his people, a treasured possession, as he has spoken to you, and to guard all his commands, so as to set you high above all nations which he has made, for a praise and for a name and for esteem, and for you to be a set-apart people to Yahuwah your Elohim, as he has spoken. Chapter 27. And Moshe, with the elders of Israel, commanded the people, saying, Guard all the commands which I am commanding you today. And it shall be on the day when you pass over the Yarden to the land which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you, that you shall set up for yourselves large stones, and plaster them with plaster, and write on them all the words of this Torah, when you have passed over, so that you go into the land which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you, a land flowing with milk and honey, as Yahuwah Elohim of your fathers has spoken to you. And it shall be when you have passed over the Yarden, that on Mount Ebal you set up these stones, which I command you today, and you shall plaster them with plaster, and build a slaughter place to Yahuwah your Elohim there, a slaughter place of stones. Do not use an iron tool on them. Build the slaughter place of Yahuwah your Elohim with complete stones. And you shall offer ascending offerings on it to Yahuwah your Elohim, and shall slaughter peace offerings and eat there, and rejoice before Yahuwah your Elohim. And you shall write all the words of this Torah on the stones, plainly and well. And Moshe and the priests, the Levites, spoke to all Israel, saying, Be silent and hear, O Israel. This day you have become the people of Yahuwah your Elohim. And you shall obey the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim, and do his commands, and his laws which I command you today. And Moshe commanded the people on that day, saying, These are to stand on Mount Gerizim, to bless the people. When you have passed over the Yarden, Shimon, and Levi, and Yehuda, and Yissachar, and Yosef, and Benjamin. And these are to stand on Mount Ebal, to curse Reuben, Gad, and Asher, and Zebulun, Dan, and Naphtali. And the Levites shall speak with a loud voice, and say to all the men of Israel, Cursed is the man who makes a carved or molded image, an abomination to Yahuwah, the work of the hands of the craftsman, and sets it up in secret. And all the people shall answer and say, Amen. Cursed is he who makes light of his father or his mother. And all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is he who moves his neighbor's boundary. And all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is he who misleads the blind in the way. And all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is he who twists the right ruling of the sojourner, the fatherless, and the widow. And all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is he who lies with his father's wife, because he has uncovered the corner of his father's bed. And all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is he who lies with any beast. And all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is he who lies with his sister, the daughter of his father, or the daughter of his mother. And all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is he who lies with his mother-in-law. And all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is he who strikes his neighbor secretly. And all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is he who takes a bribe to strike an innocent being. And all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is he who does not establish the words of this Torah. And all the people shall say, Amen. Chapter 28. And it shall be, if you diligently obey the voice of Yahuwah, your Elohim, to guard to do all his commands which I command you today, that Yahuwah your Elohim shall set you high above all the nations of the earth. And all these blessings shall come upon you and overtake you if you obey the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim. Blessed are you in the city, and blessed are you in the field. Blessed is the fruit of your body, and the fruit of your ground, and the fruit of your livestock, the increase of your cattle, and the offspring of your flocks. Blessed is your basket and your kneading bowl. Blessed are you when you come in, and blessed are you when you go out. Yahuwah causes your enemies who rise against you to be smitten before your face. They come out against you one way and flee before you 7 ways. Yahuwah commands the blessing on you in your storehouses and in all to which you set your hand, and shall bless you in the land which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you. Yahuwah does establish you as a set-apart people to himself, as he has sworn to you, if you guard the commands of Yahuwah your Elohim and walk in his ways. When all the peoples of the earth shall see that the name of Yahuwah is called upon you, and they shall be afraid of you. And Yahuwah shall make you to have plenty of what is good, in the fruit of your body, in the fruit of your livestock, and in the fruit of your ground, in the land of which Yahuwah swore to your fathers to give you. Yahuwah opens to you his good treasure, the heavens, to give the rain to your land in its season, and to bless all the work of your hand. And you shall lend to many nations, but you do not borrow. Yahuwah shall make you the head and not the tail, and you shall be only on top and not be beneath, if you obey the commands of Yahuwah your Elohim, which I command you today to guard and do. And do not turn aside from any of the words which I am commanding you today, right or left, to go after other mighty ones to serve them. And it shall be, if you do not obey the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim, to guard to do all his commands and his law which I command you today, that all these curses shall come upon you and overtake you. Cursed are you in the city, and cursed are you in the field. Cursed is your basket and your kneading bowl. Cursed is the fruit of your body and the fruit of your land, the increase of your cattle and the offspring of your flocks. Cursed are you when you come in, and cursed are you when you go out. Yahuwah sends on you the curse, the confusion, and the rebuke in all that you set your hand to, until you are destroyed, and until you perish quickly, because of the evil of your doings by which you have forsaken me. Yahuwah makes the plague cling to you until he has consumed you from the land which you are going to possess. Yahuwah strikes you with wasting disease, and with inflammation, and with burning, and with extreme heat, and with the sword, and with blight, and with mildew, and they shall pursue you until you perish. And your heavens which are over your head shall be bronze, and the earth which is under you iron. Yahuwah makes the rain of your land powder and dust. From the heavens it comes down on you until you are destroyed. Yahuwah causes you to be defeated against your enemies. You go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them. And you shall become a horror to all the reigns of the earth, and your carcasses shall be food for all the birds of the heavens and the beasts of the earth, with no one to frighten them away. Yahuwah shall strike you with the boils of Mitzrayim, with tumors, with the scab, and with the itch, from which you are unable to be healed. Yahuwah shall strike you with madness, and blindness, and bewilderment of heart, and you shall be groping at noon as a blind man gropes in darkness, and not prosper in your ways. And you shall be only oppressed and plundered all the days, with no one to save you. You become engaged to a wife, but another man does lie with her. You build a house, but do not dwell in it. You plant a vineyard, but do not use its fruit. Your ox is slaughtered before your eyes, but you do not eat of it. Your donkey is violently taken from you, and is not given back to you. Your sheep are given to your enemies with no one to save them. Your sons and your daughters are given to another people, and your eyes look and fail for them all day long, and your hand is powerless. A people whom you have not known eat the fruit of your land and all your labors, and you shall be only oppressed and crushed all the days. and you shall be maddened because of the sight which your eye sees. Yahuwah strikes you in the knees and on the legs with evil boils, of which you are unable to be healed. And from the sole of your foot to the top of your head, Yahuwah brings you and the sovereign, whom you set over you, to a nation which neither you nor your fathers have known. And there you shall serve other mighty ones, wood and stone. Thus shall you become an astonishment, a proverb, and a mockery among all the peoples to which Yahuwah drives you. You take much seed out in the field, but gather little in, for the locust consumes it. You plant vineyards and shall labor, but you neither drink of the wine nor gather, for the worm eats it. You have olive trees in all your borders, but do not anoint with oil, for your olives drop off. You bring forth sons and daughters, but they are not with you, for they go into captivity. Locusts possess all your trees and the fruit of your ground. The sojourner who is among you rises higher and higher above you, but you come down lower and lower. He lends to you, but you do not lend to him. He is the head, and you are the tail. And all these curses shall come upon you, and they shall pursue and overtake you until you are destroyed, because you did not obey the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim to guard his commands and his laws which he commanded you. And they shall be upon you for a sign and for a wonder, and on your seed forever, because you did not serve Yahuwah your Elohim with joy and gladness of heart for all the plenty. You shall serve your enemies whom Yahuwah sends against you in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in need of all. And he shall put a yoke of iron on your neck until he has destroyed you. Yahuwah shall bring a nation against you from afar, from the ends of the earth, as swift as the eagle flies, a nation whose language you shall not understand. A fierce-looking nation, which shall show no regard for the elderly, nor show favor to the young. And they shall eat the fruit of your livestock and the fruit of your land until you are destroyed. They leave you no grain, nor new wine, nor oil, nor the increase of your cattle, or the offspring of your flocks, until they have destroyed you. And they shall besiege you at all your gates, till your high and fenced walls, in which you are trusting, come down in all your land. And they shall besiege you at all your gates in all your land, which Yahuwah your Elohim has given you. And you shall eat the fruit of your own body, the flesh of your sons and your daughters, whom Yahuwah your Elohim has given you, in the siege and distress in which your enemies distress you. The man among you who is tender and who is very delicate, his eye is evil against his brother, against the wife of his bosom, and against the rest of his children whom he leaves behind, against giving any of them the flesh of his children that he eats, because it is all that has been left to him in the siege and distress with which your enemy distresses you in all your gates. The tender and delicate woman among you, who has not tried to set the sole of her foot on the ground because of her delicateness and tenderness, her eye is evil against the husband of her bosom, and against her son, and against her daughter, and against her seed which comes out from between her feet, and her children whom she bears, for she eats them in secret for lack of all, in the siege and distress with which your enemy distresses you in all your gates. If you do not guard to do all the words of this Torah that are written in this book, to fear this esteemed and awesome name, Yahuwah your Elohim, then Yahuwah shall bring upon you and your descendants extraordinary plagues, great and lasting plagues, and grievous and lasting sicknesses. And he shall bring back on you all the diseases of Mitzrayim, of which you were afraid, and they shall cling to you. Also every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this Torah, Yahuwah does bring upon you until you are destroyed. And you shall be left with few men, although you had become as numerous as the stars of the heavens, because you did not obey the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim. And it shall be that as Yahuwah rejoiced over you to do you good and increase you, so Yahuwah does rejoice over you to destroy you and lay you waste. And you shall be plucked from off the land which you go to possess. And Yahuwah shall scatter you among all peoples, from one end of the earth to the other. And there you shall serve other mighty ones, which neither you nor your fathers have known, wood and stone. And among those nations you are to find no rest, nor have a resting place for the sole of your foot. But there Yahuwah shall give you a trembling heart, and failing eyes, and sorrow of being. And your life shall be hanging in suspense before you, and you shall fear night and day, and not be certain of your life. In the morning you say, "Oh, that it were evening." And at the evening you say, "Oh, that it were morning," because of the fear of your heart, with which you fear, and because of the sight which your eyes see. And Yahuwah shall bring you back to Mitzrayim in ships, by a way of which I said to you, you are never to see it again. And there you shall be sold to your enemies as male and female slaves, but no one to buy.